I am continuing in my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am continuing reading in a chronological order, according to event, not according to publication or volume, so I'm skipping around a bit as I move along. I am back with my reading, but this is going to be an odd one because a week or two ago I read section 132. And in reading it, I originally planned it for 3 parts. Eventually read it in 5 parts because there was just so much to say about it that it was taking a long time. And with everything that happened last week, I kind of let it go. I didn't get to editing until yesterday. And as I was editing yesterday, I realized that in my reading, I missed 3 verses. See, my first part, which has already been released, I read through verse 14. But I thought, as I was recording, for some reason, that I had read through verse 17. And so my second part picks up in verse 18. So I didn't read 15, 16, or 17 in that original recording. So I'm reading it now. Just these 3 verses. We're going to insert it here, release it as part 2, and we'll do 132 in 6 sections instead of 5. Now remember, this section is largely, the section is the new and everlasting covenant. And that is being explained, which we read in the first 14 verses, but is being explained as a foundational doctrine to explain how plural marriage is acceptable to God, to explain why that is a celestial practice. That's the purpose of this section, is to explain plural marriage. But the first 14 verses were to explain the new and everlasting covenant, which is the foundation for all covenants in the modern day. Remember, the new and everlasting covenant is the bedrock covenant. It is the fullness of the covenants of God. It is the covenant that we live under. Just as the law of Moses was the covenant of ancient Israel, and the New Testament, I actually believe in the Joseph Smith translation it was changed. You had the Old Covenant and the New Covenant instead of the Old Testament and the New Testament, and now we have a new covenant with God. So that's what the new and everlasting covenant is, which is explained in the first 14 verses. We are now going to read verses 15, 16, and 17. Therefore, if a man marry him a wife in the world, and he marry her not by me, nor by my word, and he covenant with her so long as he is in the world, and she with him, their covenant and marriage are not of force when they are dead, and when they are out of the world. Therefore they are not bound by any law when they are out of the world. Therefore when they are out of the world, they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but are appointed angels in heaven, which angels are ministering servants, to minister for those who are worthy of a far more and an exceeding and an eternal weight of glory. For these angels did not abide my law, therefore they cannot be enlarged, but remain separately and singly without exaltation in their saved condition to all eternity, and from henceforth are not gods, but are angels of God forever and ever. We pick it up in 18 in the next video, where it describes how you can become an eternal marriage, an eternal covenant. But note, this is, in the modern day, this is most marriages. And that's why in most marriages they say, till death do you part. Because marriages in the world simply do not have force in the eternities. There is no marriage without the sealing power of the Holy Spirit and the covenant of God. You'll note, verse 16, they neither marry nor are given in marriage. That is the same thing that Christ says in all 3 of the synoptic gospels. So was it Matthew 22, Mark 12, and Luke 20, something like that, where the Sadducees come and ask Christ about the families. There were among us a family. 7 brothers, the eldest gets married, dies without children, and according to the law of Moses, his brother marries the widow. He also dies without children, and it goes through the cycle of all 7 brothers. All 7 die, and the wife dies, and they ask who she'll be married to in the resurrection. And Christ uses this, you don't understand the scriptures, because in the resurrection they neither marry nor are given in marriage. And people like to latch onto that and say that this is proof that there is no marriage in heaven. But, I mean, I made the comment when I was reading that, but you got to understand it's those marriages that are not made according to the law of God, that are not sealed by the Holy Spirit of promise. Those marriages do not continue. And so those who are involved in those marriages become as the angels in heaven. They neither marry nor are given in marriage, because their marriages are not done according to the law of God. And in that story, it's the Sadducees say there was among us a family, meaning that they are talking about an actual family. So it's a hypothetical question. There was a family of Sadducees in which this case played out. And Christ is telling them, you don't believe in the resurrection. You are not doing things according to the law of God. And therefore your marriages don't continue. It doesn't matter, because you are not following the true covenant, and therefore your marriages will end. They will not marry nor are given in marriage, because they are not living according to the law of God. I'm going to leave that here. It's a very short reading because it's just a correction of what I did in the past. So we now turn to my original recordings, which will now be part 3 of the section 132, and I will see you there.